What is up, crew? It is Sunday. It is Spencer, and you are an FTM Transtastic. Someone told me on Tumblr that I don't smile, so here I am, smiling. Yes. Alright, this is an advice week. So we are going to be talking about advice for parents of trans kids. I did watch everybody else's videos, and I'm going to focus more on advice for trans kids that are non-binary and POC. I have 2 tips for each category, I guess. For parents of non-binary trans kids, I would say that one of the biggest things that I can give you advice is to tell them that their gender expression is valid. It is incredibly hard to not only come out as trans, but come out as non-binary. It's really hard to explain and express themselves to you, especially if you're cisgendered. I mean, if you always fit the binary and only saw the world as male or female, and your child is coming out to you as something that's not something you only see in the world as, I can definitely see you being confused. I can definitely see how it can lead to frustrations, because confusion can also lead to frustration because you want to understand. So what I would say is definitely don't call it a phase, and don't say that it's invalid. Because being non-binary, being agender, gender non-conforming, whatever word that you want to use is a valid expression and is a valid identity. So just allow yourself time to research and allow them time to fully be able to express to you how they feel. And I'm sure you guys will be able to work it out. One thing that I want to stress is pronouns. I know pronouns may not seem like a big thing to you, or if you think that they are if they're somewhere in the middle, they should be able to be using either one, so you shouldn't have to change them. But whatever pronouns they request, please do use. Whether it's them, they, zyre, zare, he, him, she, her, whatever, please use. The biggest thing for me is when I came out to my parents as non-binary, I came out with the pronouns they, them, and they kept telling me that it was too confusing and it wasn't correct in grammar, which is bullshit, but it wasn't correct grammar and nobody would understand and people would think I'm multiple people and that I like all this crazy stuff. And it wasn't only them, it was other people who supported me but were like, it's just too hard. And so I conformed, unfortunately, and chose he, him. And though he, him doesn't cause me dysphoria, he, him doesn't make me upset, it isn't me, you know? It's closer than she, her, definitely, by far, but it's not me. And I hope one day I'm able to get out of this conformity and be able to fully express myself for who I am, and be able to reclaim my they, them pronouns and only allow people to use they, them pronouns. And that's like kind of my goal. But because of just the terrible experience I had for coming out as non-binary, I just kind of like pushed that aside, because it makes you feel like you're being extra. It makes you feel like you're adding all this extra pressure on people, when in all honesty, it's just you trying to tell them who you are. Because the last thing you want your child to do is feel like they're being an inconvenience. Because that's what it made me feel like. I was an inconvenience. And I wanted to make it easier for everyone else because I was already doing the most. If you know that phrase, doing the most. Those are my 2 tips. 1, do not invalidate their expression. And 2, use pronouns. Obviously, those 2 things can definitely go for any trans person, MTF, FTM, non-binary, whatever. But those were the biggest things that I wish my parents would have done more of when I came out to them. I also want to talk to parents of color who have trans kids. There is a couple of things that I want to mention on that. For one, it was a conversation that I had with my dad when I came out as trans and transitioning feminine to masculine. We live in the States. We live in Georgia. And if you are in the States, you know all the crazy police brutality stories that are in the media that only affect black males. I'm not saying that there aren't police brutality and other POCs. I'm just talking about the ones that are in the media that are blowing up that are black males. I understand that all POCs experience it. Just disclaimer. My dad said, why would you want to make yourself even more of a target? And I think he was referring to like safety wise, as in you see all this brutality and you read the statistics. I think the FBI released statistics saying, yeah, it was the FBI released statistics saying that police officers are 10 times more likely to shoot a black person versus other races, and 5 times more likely to shoot a black male versus a white male. That's like the statistic on the FBI's website or something. So you have these statistics and you hear these stories and you're involved in all these like uprisings and everything. Why would you want to transition to make yourself a target? And I looked at him and I said, you know, that should speak volumes to you. That should speak volumes to you. The fact that I hear and see and experience all these negative things for being perceived black male, yet I still want to transition to be perceived black male, should show you just how serious this is. I would much rather be a target, even though like black people, female or male, are targets, just targets for different reasons. But anyways, I would much rather be a target in his eyes than safer. Because if I was to stay female, I wouldn't be happy. And then I'll just start doing crazy stuff to myself, and it'll just be a detrimental cycle, and nobody wants to go through that. So this honestly is the safest route for me. And that's kind of what I try to explain to him. Know that it's not just another thing that's going to segregate your child. And know that it's not just another thing that white America can discriminate against. The fact that they're transitioning, the fact that they're still wanting to do this, even though they know, because I promise you they're not ignorant to being a POC. So even though they know that it definitely can make their life harder, yet they're still trying to transition, should speak volumes to you. That's all I have to say about it. I hope my tips helped. Side note, I will be at the Philly Trans Health Conference in June. So if you're going to be there, definitely shoot me an email or YouTube or Tumblr, Facebook, letter, Instagram, whatever. I'd love to meet you guys and say hello. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Sorry for looking a wreck. I am just tired. I'm just so tired. And this shirt's really wrinkled, but it's okay because it's okay. It's Sunday. It's Spencer. Until next time.